Showtime is here, no time to fear. Carell is so near because Showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Carell is the one that you need to know. Now it's Showtime.
Hello, possums! There you are. Today I'm in one of my favorite places, the kitchen. We're going to tell you why. We're going to make some soup, actually, and we're going to talk topics and do all of this on this Thursday, June 11th. Don't go anywhere. We're in my kitchen, honey.
Now it's Showtime.
All right, it is the Carell Show. I am Carell. God, I'm crooked. You can tell that's why I'm on disability. I have to, stand this way to not be crooked. And this is my hairy nipple. Hope you all like it. Anyway, we are in my kitchen today, and maybe we'll be in my kitchen every day. Who can say? I don't know. But we will figure it out. And the reason we are here, I want to be clear. It is okay sometimes in today's world to cry uncle. Okay? Y'all know that I've had a pretty trying week. And I really have. The going on the Great Britain news and then the hatred online. I know you all think I have a tough shell, and I do. But you know what? You get tired of it at 63 years old. It's Pride Month, and homophobia is at an all-time record high. The volume of it is high, and I'm tired of hearing about it. Trump is waging illegal wars. The world is a fucked up mess, and I'm tired of it. So instead of talking about how I'm going to change the show, instead of worrying about, oh, are my patrons still going to support me, I'm just going to start making the changes I need for my mental health and my physical health, my heart, my blood pressure. Keith Olbermann is taking a break because he has AFib, and the stress of Trump and the world is putting him in AFib. Every day this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, sitting at that table in there, I had heart palpitations. I had a little bit of woozy. I didn't tell you guys. But it was always when I was getting upset or when I was pontificating and whatever. And you know what? I don't want to say that we shouldn't fight. We should fight. I've been fighting for 50 years for gay and lesbian rights, for equality for women, equality for African Americans, immigrants' rights, human rights, all kinds of stuff I've been fighting. But I've also been more in the entertainment world. And that really is the world I feel comfortable in. And I consider the kitchen part of entertainment. Now, yes, I am crooked. I have scoliosis from a back injury. A lot of you never noticed because I'm sitting down, but this is one of the reasons I'm on disability. My back is really messed up. And so I thought today we would come in the kitchen and do what I do over the weekend. Because I don't know about y'all, but over the weekend, I don't think about Trump. I don't think about, whatever. I think about what am I going to have to eat for the next week? How am I going to prepare it? How much is it going to cost? Can I afford it? Do I have to take out a second mortgage before going to the grocery store? And so I think about those things. And as I said, there is no law that says you cannot, I don't want to say quit, okay? I'm not quitting, but there's no law that says you can't change up your life if your life is too stressful. Yesterday, Wednesday, when I was thinking about going and doing the show on Thursday, dread filled me. I didn't want to do it. I'm like, I don't want to go and get upset again and yell and scream and have horrible people in the chat room. By the way, chatters, I can't get to type to you. I love you, Granny and Phineas and all of you. James Shabel, I hope you're all there chatting, but I can't get to youtube.com/Really Carell while I'm in the kitchen because I have sharp objects, okay? Let's have some homophobes in my kitchen, shall we? Come on. Come and bring your comments up in here. Come on. Anyway, so I'm going to start changing it up a little on the show. I hope that you stick with me on it. I don't know how often we'll be in the kitchen, how often we'll be out in the world, but I got this cute little microphone system here now. I can be mobile. I can use my iPad and my iPhone as cameras. You'll notice the different quality of the cameras. They're different devices. So why not? So today I thought, let's get in the kitchen. Let's have some fun. It's a Thursday. It's the middle of June almost. It's hot as hell. Going to be 107 degrees here. But one of the things I've been doing, I see a nutritionist today at 1, and one of the things I've been doing is having my breakfast of oat groats and all of that, my protein powder and my fruit cup. And I mean a fruit cup. How much fruit do you guys eat? Because I eat 2 of these a day. Okay, look at that. Do y'all see that? I eat 2 of these. Oops, sorry. I eat 2 of these a day. Ooh, I can make them boobies. But I eat 2 of them a day. And right now this is filled with strawberry, banana, mandarin orange, blueberries, just all kinds of goodness. And so I eat 2 of these a day. And that's how much fruit you're supposed to eat, and that's how much fruit I eat. So I prepare all that beforehand as well. As you see, that's for tomorrow. But I'm going to be seeing a nutritionist to see if
you're not visiting reallycarell.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallycarell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Carell is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Carell is the one that you need to know.
All right, it is the Carell Show. We're back in the kitchen where I'm clutching my olive oil, my EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. When life gets a little much for you, and if you're tired of all the stress and Donald Trump and homophobia, transphobia, all that, do something you love. For me, it's getting up in the kitchen and showing you how to make some different items. And I love that. I love showing you things. Now, it's not without a space in the news. So today we're going to start with tomato soup, and I hope we get to the cream of broccoli soup. I hope we get to do 2 soups today. But we're starting with the cream of tomato because who does not love tomato soup? But who knew tomato soup would be provocative? And it is. I'm going to tell you why. But first, let me give you the ingredients. You can pause these. I'm going to put them up on the website at reallycarell.com. I'll put them down in the comments down below on YouTube at youtube.com/reallycarell. So, for my tomato soup for the soul, I call it. Of course, it's vegan. We're going to start with 2 tables to 3, let's just say between 2 tablespoons and a quarter cup. You're just going to pour, okay? But 2 tablespoons olive oil. Let's just go with that. 1 sweet Visalia onion. There we go. I am not one of these chefs that preps everything for the show. We're going to do it together. 2 cloves of garlic. I'm using 3, and they were frozen because you can freeze your garlic cloves, and that's fine. And it says minced. This is my recipe that I came up with. I said minced, but when you're going to puree your soup, like we're going to do with the tomato soup, you don't need to mince the garlic. You just need to cook it in there, and then you'll mince it up in the blender. 28-ounce can of whole peeled San Marzano style tomatoes. Why are San Marzano style tomatoes better? Fuck if I know, they're just good. 2 cups of stock. I buy mine even though this is now almost $3 and you can make it so much cheaper, but I buy it. Low sodium, FYI. Then we're gonna have some basil, some sugar. Just throw in as much basil as you want. Some people like a lot, some like a little. A half a tablespoon sugar. And then we're going to do a quarter cup of coconut milk, which it is right here. Or you could do vegan half and half if you want. And then 2 tablespoons to a quarter cup, depending of nutritional yeast for a really cheesy flavor. And then a splash of lemon juice, which I have in the refrigerator. But the sugar is to cut the acidity of the lemons. I'm sorry, of the tomatoes. Okay, so you got to cut the acidity of the tomatoes. And that's what you use the sugar for. So it's not many ingredients. Olive oil, onion, garlic, tomatoes, stock, basil, sugar, half and half, or coconut milk, and nutritional yeast. That's it. Now, we're going to turn on the stove over here. And I have a camera for the stove, and we will use it in just a second. But as I chop the onion, and we can just switch, how can I do this? I want to just switch to the big camera so you can see me chopping the onion, chopping broccoli. I already chopped broccoli. But there's a wide view camera here. Let me get out of view here, but I'll keep talking to you while I'm doing it because I want you to see what I'm doing. I think it's important for you to see what I am doing and how I am doing it. So let's go here and here. And let's take away its audio because you guys will go, Carell, the audio was weird. here and there. Okay, there. Now you can see me. Okay, so why did I pick tomato soup? Well, because it's topical. Okay, it's topical. So tomatoes, including this can, which was almost $3 for a can of tomatoes, they have surged nearly 40% this year. Okay, tomatoes. Why? Tomatoes are the latest popular food to take a bite out of consumer wallets, joining items like coffee, bananas, and beef. As of May, government data shows that tomato, which is a fruit, the fruit's prices were up 40% from a year ago, compared with 17% for food cost overall. So overall, food's costing you 17% more, which ain't nothing. But these tomatoes are costing you 40%. Why? Across the U.S., tomatoes cost about $2.69 a pound, a record high. Remember when tomatoes are a quarter a pound? By comparison, coffee prices had risen 18% and ground beef jumped 19%, seafood up 12%, but tomatoes up 40%. Several factors are driving up tomato prices, according to David Branch, sector manager at Wells Fargo Agri-Food Institute. The U.S. in July imposed a 17% tariff, thank you, Donald Trump, on Mexican tomatoes while withdrawing from a 3-decade-old trade agreement that enabled duty-free tomato imports from Mexico. So once again, tomatoes have gone up because of Donald Trump, because of MAGA, and because of who you voted for. Trump is in every part of your life, including your kitchen. Although scuttling the deal benefited American farmers, consumers are feeling the pain. U.S. tariffs collected on tomatoes have surged from $16,000 in 2024 to $4.6 million. So we used to pay in tariffs about $16,000 a year on tomatoes. Now we pay $4.6 million in tariffs on tomatoes. In 2025, nearly 90% of U.S. tomato imports came from Mexico. Because the U.S. relies on Mexico for the majority of its tomatoes, any changes in trade policy can have a large impact, added Brett Massimo, a Virginia Commonwealth University professor. Bad weather and disease in Mexico are also indirectly pushing up tomato prices by hurting production in Mexico and Florida, thus reducing supplies. What's making it unique is the fact that there is a shortage of tomatoes and there isn't a shortage of other produce, said Philip Coles, a professor of supply chain management at Lehigh University. Food industry analyst Phil Lempert, known as the supermarket guru, also said the Iran war is fueling higher tomato costs through higher oil prices. Again, so Donald Trump has caused 2 increases to your tomatoes. Because of the Iran war, the price of transporting tomatoes is more expensive. Amen, just from the grocery store. Just driving them home from the grocery store is more expensive. But think about that. He's raised them 2 ways. He raised the tariffs to 17%. He got out of a trade deal with Mexico that we had for 30 plus years. And the Strait of Hormuz is closed, so oil is more expensive. So getting them here from Mexico is more costly. Tomatoes are typically shipped on refrigerated trucks that require more diesel to power both the vehicles and the refrigerators housing the tomatoes, he noted. When you have a major rise in a core cost component, it winds up having a big impact in the end. It's a weird situation that all these things are coming together at once. No, it ain't. It's the way life is, right? Okay. So the first thing you need to do is, that's heating up, is chop your onion. And here's the beautiful thing about making tomato soup, okay? You do not have to finely chop the onion. You don't have to show off all of your chef skills, which I'm sure you all practice chopping an onion. I do. I have, and I do, and I probably still will. My niece taught me how to do it from Le Cordon Bleu, and so I do it. She didn't teach me how to peel an onion, however, and if any of you have a life hack for that, I am more than ready to figure out how to successfully peel an onion and get all of that. Do they still make typing paper? Do they still make typing paper? But do they still make typing paper out of onion skin? Do they still make typing paper? There's a question. There's a trivia question. One of you in the chat room can answer it, and I will, in fact, read the chat room during the breaks. Okay, some chop and said onion, and again, no fancy cuts here. Okay, so I got my onion, and my garlic. But you want to put your garlic in later. Why? Most people put their garlic in their recipes too soon. Garlic can burn, okay? So you don't want to put it in too soon. Words to live by, honey. Don't be putting it in too soon now, girl. Okay, so let's get to our stove cam. I'm so excited. We have a stove cam. Are you ready? Are y'all ready for the stove cam? Here we go. And look at that. We have a stove cam. Isn't that something? Okay, so we're going to add olive oil. And like I said, 2 tablespoons, a quarter cup, whatever. It's a little hot. Take it off. Olive oil will burn. You don't want to do that. So if it starts to smoke a little, just take it off for a second and throw in your onions. Woo! Try not to burn yourself in the face. All right, now, here's something that I do that they don't necessarily teach you when you're making tomato soup, but I want to teach you, okay? So take your onions and put them in there. Break them up as much as you can. They'll break up as they cook. Then, yes, Lord, I want you to take a little bit of sugar, okay? And I want you to put that sugar on top of the onions. You heard me. Put some sugar on top of the onion. And then, of course, a little salt on top of your onions. I use the Himalayan mountain salt. Put that in there. Put as much as you'd like. Don't put too much, though. And now, here's the thing. You want this to be on a medium to low heat, okay? And the reason is I want you to caramelize these onions because they're one of the main flavors of the soup, okay? So I want you to caramelize them. Now, that takes a minute, so we're going to have to chat about other world events while we caramelize onions. Isn't that just immensely satisfying, watching me caramelize the onions? Isn't that great? We have the whatchamacallit, stove cam. Yes, fabulous. Okay, so we are caramelizing these onions. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that you have some red wine in your kitchen. I have some port, okay? Just some port. I would use a different red wine, a Cabernet or something. But, whatever red wine you got, use. Now we're going to let these cook. Oh, it smells so frickin' good in here. Oh my God, already. There's nothing like browning onions. Now, for those of you on a low FODMAP diet, this is not the soup for you, okay? Not much else I can say there. This is not the soup for you. Oh, and if you don't have stock, I highly recommend this better than bouillon, okay? That's really good. That's a vegetable kind. But I just want you to... And see that story that I just read you. When I say I want to do a cooking show, there is no show that you could do, okay, for anybody, anywhere, okay? There is zero show. Why isn't that moved over a little bit? I need this. I took so long to set up the cooking cam, and I didn't really... There we go. There. Okay. So there is... Some of the smoke is going to get up in your eyes. There is no show that you could do that doesn't have politics involved. Tomato soup used to be one of the cheapest things that you could make. I remember many a time being poor and having tomato soup, okay? Because it was cheap. Back in the day, a can of Campbell's tomato soup, which, did you hear the Campbell's controversy? Some executive said he wouldn't even eat his own tomato soup. But Campbell's tomato soup, you took a can of it, and then you put a can of milk with it, and that was it. Made a grilled cheese, and guess what? You had dinner. Grilled cheese and tomato soup is spectacular. Now, I like to make a lot of it in advance and then have it for dinner with my cup of fruit. I eat my oat groats and stuff in the morning, and then I go out to lunch and save half of the lunch, whatever it is, Chef Kenny's or wherever I'm going. The Indian buffet or my Pan-Asian Thai cuisine over on Durango, great place. Durango in between Desert Inn and Sahara, Pan-Asian Thai cuisine, wonderful place. So I go there to lunch and I save half of it for the next day. And then at night, I only eat a cup of soup with some crackers. That's my God-given right to have crackers. And a cup of fruit. Now, as you see, they're getting nice. They're translucent. Some of them are getting brown. Onions take a minute. That's why I don't know that we're going to get to both soups. Because onions take a minute to caramelize. But what you're doing is you're drawing out all that fabulous sugar. You know, I find it so interesting that Donald Trump, who, you know, is at war again. What is this ceasefire thing? You know, it's like, oh, there's a ceasefire, but we're just going to bomb them a little bit. You know, he's one of those people that think you can be a little bit pregnant. You know? You know what I'm saying? He's one of those people that think, hey, I could be a little bit pregnant. Like, no, you can't. You're either pregnant or you're not. Are you enjoying watching me saute? Now, I could do another camera here so you could actually see me. You'd see the back of me. Do you mind seeing the back of me? I don't know. But I could do this here. Look at those. You got to just let them cook. Don't be afraid to let things cook. Okay? Just let them go. Let them cook. Because guess what? If you let them cook, they're going to get nice and brown. You know? It's going to get nice and brown. So here, we got this playlist going here.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
The other thing is you don't have to keep stirring them, okay? You stir them like you don't have to like stir constantly. You have a life. You have things to do, you know? So you don't have to stir constantly. You can let them stir, let them cook. By the way, new Steven Spielberg movie coming out. Highly recommend it. It's called, Contact Day or something day. The Day Without a Santa Claus. I don't know. It's something, but you'll know because it's Steven Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg is spectacular. So, yeah. I don't know why the playlist isn't working. I really don't. It should be working. It's not. I don't know why. I am sorry. Oh, problem after problem. You always got a motherfucking problem. Yes, I do. But there is another camera. Here we go. There we go. There's me in the kitchen. Steven Spielberg has a new movie coming out this week. It's getting rave reviews. I'm still stuck on Trump making our tomatoes 40% more expensive. You know, I am so sick of every part of my life being affected by that goonberry. I really am. And, you know, world food shortages are only going to keep getting worse. Okay? It's just going to keep getting worse. And I don't know how much more we can take and how much more our food system can take. Did I mention that browning onions takes a long time? Are we ready? Are we ready to let's go to the food cam because I think we're ready. I believe we're ready to add in some alcohol, baby. Oh, no, okay. It's not letting me go back to the food cam. It hates me. I don't know why it hates me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Are you ready to add some port? Let's add some port, baby. Woo! Oh! Doesn't that sound fabulous? Look fabulous? Oh! The Lord is my shepherd. Now, what you want to do is cook all that. See that wine? You want to cook it down, child. Cook it down. Cook it down. Let it cook for a second. For those of you that think all the alcohol cooks out of that, you're wrong. It would actually take almost an hour for all the alcohol to cook out of that. There's just so little alcohol in it that it doesn't really matter. Look at that. Look at the color. Look at everything. Oh my God, it's going to be such good tomato soup. Now, they don't tell you, and by the way, in my instructions, I didn't tell you that either, but this is how I make the tomato soup, child, okay? So Donald Trump affects every room in your house. The tariffs that you pay for electronics on new TVs or a new computer screen or this little monitor I have over there cost more money because it comes from China. Everything that man does affects us in a negative way. Tomatoes are 40% over what they were just a year ago. Now let's add some garlic, shall we? We'll just add the garlic cloves. Just add them in there. Because nothing speaks deliciousness like wine, garlic, and onions. this, okay? Oh, look at that. I wish y'all were here. I wish everybody watching were in my kitchen right now, watching me, like Ember is, so you could smell this. It's so good. And again, there's nothing wrong with escaping to your happy place. Nowadays, we really need it. You know, we really do need it, because I don't know about y'all, but I've had about enough as I can take. You know, I was reading in Variety about an actor from Stranger Things. I forget his name. He played the dad, you know, the dad type with the beard. And allegedly him and Millie Bobby Brown had a problem. He said they don't. But anyway, he had a mental breakdown at the height of his success. And he said, I couldn't figure it out. And then he said it was because he was letting all of the negative things get to him. How most of us are, oh my God, look at that. How most of us every day are not having a mental breakdown is beyond me, okay? It simply is beyond me. By the way, remember y'all when I agonized over buying the Vitamix over here? Oh my God, I'm so glad I did. It's going to make this soup so much easier to do. 40% though, 17% tariffs on these tomatoes that I'm using over here. We're not going to get to the broccoli soup. Obviously, I'll have to make that for you another day. And by the way, the wine will help you deglaze the pan. If the pan gets all this goodness up here, just splash some wine up there. All right. These look good. These look very, very good. So now we want to add our 28 ounces of San Marzano. Where the hell is San Marzano? Can someone point it out on the map? San Marzano tomatoes. Tomatoes will also deglaze the pan, by the way, because of the acid in the tomatoes. So you can scrape the pan once you put the tomatoes in, and all the goodness will come off. Now mix the tomatoes up with those caramelized onions, and those are caramelized onions. Mix all that together. Take a little basil, like Tony Basil. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Throw some basil in there. Throw it in there. Now, actually, you're just going to throw everything in there now. This is how easy tomato soup is. For those of you that think tomato soup is hard, it ain't. Throw in your nutritional yeast. Throw in your coconut milk. Throw in your stock. Look at that. Ooh, baby. I said 2 cups. I lied. Use 4 cups. Why not? Extend the soup out. Okay? Now mixa. Now, you're going to be tempted to taste it. And, you know, go ahead, taste it. But until you blend it all up and get all of those flavors together, it's not going to taste like much. But let's take a look. Let's take a little taste. Whoa, honey, I am so good. I have to tell you, I am so good. That is really delicious. Look at the color. That's the dark color from the port and from the caramelized onions that's doing that. Absolutely fabulous stuff. All right, all you do now, let that cook for 10 minutes. Let it cook, and then take your blender or your Avulsion mixer if you have one that you can, you know, one of the I have one, an Avulsion mixer. But now that I have this, now that I got my Vitamix, I'm never going back. You can't make me. Look how fabulous that is. Oh my God in heaven. All right, in fact, we'll keep the Vitamix right here because we're going to have to dump that into there. All right, I'm going to let that cook for a minute and I'll talk to you a little bit more. You know, it has been a trying week for me though. I don't like being told I should be killed or told I should die. Be put into a camp. Unless we're talking camp. So we have retreated to the kitchen where Donald Trump has invaded and cost us 17% more or 40% more for our tomatoes.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Corralcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Corralcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Corralcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Corralcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
It is the Corral Show. I am Corral. You are in my kitchen. A lovely place. It's a busy place. There's lots of stuff. My tea set behind me because I totally get ready for the next day, the day previous. So this is my tea set for tomorrow morning's tea. It's all set. You'll see in a second when the camera comes back. But here it is. It's all set on my silver platter. That's my cacao powder and my Toroni. I use the sugar-free Toroni in my cacao powder. It's delicious and good for you. And then, of course, my protein powder from my oatmeal, from my oat groats. To get the protein in, as a vegan, it's important to keep track of your protein. I got a lot of flack for that this week, too, for promoting veganism. In fact, someone online said, I see you are a woke gay vegan, so that's 3 strikes and you're out. Because somehow doing the right thing for the planet, and a planet they live on, by the way, okay? I'm not just doing the right thing for my planet, I'm doing the right thing for the planet, okay? The planet that we all live on. But somehow that's just too much. People can't fathom that. They're haters. There's so many haters. We talked about this on Wednesday. There's so many, or was it Wednesday? I guess it was. There's so many haters out there that just want to hate people. For instance, why do people, we talked about manufactured outrage. Why do people hate vegans? Why? I'm waiting. Why? Because they're different than them? Because they eat food that's different from them? Why do people hate vegans? And they do. Why? Can any of you answer that question? I'd love to see it in the comments. Why do people hate vegans? We do not affect anyone else's life at all. We just want the ability to eat. So we just want grocery stores and restaurants to include us. And that's it. That's the sum total. How does me being a vegan affect MAGA? And yet because Donald Trump has used, again, Trump in the kitchen, Donald Trump has used veganism as a slam. He called Tallarico in Texas a vegan, like it was a derogatory term. Why? Why would MAGA think that being someone that just eats plants and doesn't kill cows and kills pigs and all of that, why would they think that's a bad thing? I mean, I don't know. I've never figured out why, once I became a vegan, I got such hate from people. It's the same for being gay. People hate a lot of things that have no effect on their lives, don't they? Really. People spend a lot of time consumed with things that have no bearing on their lives. Me being gay has no bearing on anybody's life at all. None. Me being a vegan has no bearing on anybody's life. Now, one I'd like to convert you to. You pick which one. I'm kidding. I'd love for you all to become vegan. I'd love it. The planet would love it. You would love it. I'd love it. So do I promote that agenda? Of course I do. Do I promote a gay agenda? No, I promote gay equality. That's not an agenda. Okay? So I don't understand why we spend so much time hating on things that really don't affect us. Me being gay doesn't affect MAGA. Me being a vegan doesn't affect Donald Trump or MAGA or anything. And yet there's so much hate heaped upon. Someone being Italian, someone being Mexican, someone being a woman. Why would you hate on that person just for those things? That makes no kind of sense to me. It doesn't affect you. Someone being an immigrant, it doesn't affect you. You'd like to say financially it does. Oh, Corral, it affects me, the health care, and Gavin Newsom is now passing something in California to make it harder for undocumented people to get health care and all this other crap. You know what? Healthcare should be for everybody. We can afford it. We have been at war for 103 days in Iran. We have spent billions and billions of dollars. And now we have to spend billions to replenish our stockpile of weapons. No one is bitching about that. Okay? But spend a few billion to give people health care? Oh, they're not citizens. They're not. So what? It doesn't really affect your bottom line. We hate on so much that just doesn't really affect us. That's something to think about next time you're trying to hate on something.
If you're not visiting reallycorel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallycorel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Corel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Corel is the one that you need to know.
Up from the ground come this bubbling stew. Look at this. This is wonderful. Now you only have to cook tomato soup for 10 minutes. Okay, you don't. So this is ready to blend. This is ready to throw into our Vitamix and have fun. So let's do that. Let's switch to a different camera. Sorry, I got to walk out a picture to do it, but I'm a one-man show here at the Corel Cast, honey. Or the Corel Show. So let's switch it to a different camera now. The big wide-angle shots. There we go. All right, so we're going to use our mitts, our grubby little mitts. And I can take this one down now since we're not going to be cooking anymore. We're going to be using our grubby little mitts because you do not want to grab a hot pan and burn yourself. Because I've done it 1,000 times in the last 2 weeks. And guess what? It ain't fun. And as I get older, it ain't easy. Meaning, I am easy to heal. I end up not healing quickly. All right. There. Now we can go back to that other camera shot. So yeah, here I am ranting. I didn't mean to rant. See, I come into the kitchen and I don't want to rant. I don't. But it's just amazing to me. Even being in the kitchen, brings up the hate. People hate, and they hate on vegans. And there's just no reason why. FYI, I always take a little bowl just in case after you pulverize this, that you need to pulverize some more. So use your grubby little mitts. Take your Vitamix and pour. Ooh. Oh look, it's gonna hold it all. God, I love a Vitamix. Look at that. All right, baby. All right, honey lamb. Let's you and I get over to that Vitamix and pound the hell out of this shit. I kid. Not really. All right. So we need to delete a shot so we can create a shot. Here we go. I want the iPhone. There we go. Add. And here we go. Okay. The iPhone has a foggy lens because it was over the stove. But put your tomato soup on your Vitamix. Okay. Now, I want you to take the lid, pop it on, and if you're smart, have a towel nearby just in case. All right, the power switch is over here. Start very low, like 1 or 2. Look at that. Isn't that something? Now here's the fun part. Pulverize the hell out of it. Ooh, baby. I'm getting excited just grabbing it. It's all vibrating and turning me on. Oh, yes, Lord. Pulverize my $50 tomatoes. All right, you're done. Again, only the Trump administration, well, almost only, but, only the Trump administration could take something cheap. Look at that steamy goodness. Could take something cheap like tomato soup and turn it into something expensive. Isn't that something? Aren't you curious how it tastes? I sure am. Is this still hot? Nope. Okay. Let's take our tomato soup. Look how beautiful that is. Do y'all see that color? Color of love. Oh my God in heaven, Becky. I think this is going to be the best thing ever. Caramelized tomato soup for the week. You'll have it for the whole week, unless you have lots of people over. Let's see how it tastes. I bet it's so good I'm going to want to eat it now. Oh, throw me down and call me Ethel. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my God, $10 a bowl. $10 a bowl. I just made $60 worth of tomato soup. Hercules, Hercules. That's the shit right there. All right, there you go. This episode of The Corel Show showed you how to make delicious tomato soup. Okay? And it is good. And look, it didn't really take that much stuff. It really didn't. I'll post the recipe, but, you know, it's basic. And yes, I can have it with a grilled cheese as a vegan. You can either make your cheese from scratch, or you can buy Violife or Daiya, Miyoko's. There's lots of great vegan cheeses, and you can figure it out. Yeah, we got to figure out the hate. You know, I know it's a recurring theme on the show this week, but there's too much hate out there. And if I've contributed to it, I don't want to. You know, I don't. You know, yesterday, Colonel Angus in the chat room, he said, you know, Corel, you want me dead. I don't want anybody dead. That's not who I am. And if in some sort of frustration I have acted like I do, it's not me. It's the evil forces in the world making me into something I am not, you know? Because I'm not that person. I truly am not that person. And that's part of what I wanted to talk to you today about. If following the news, following Donald Trump, if being involved in all the podcasts and talk shows that you're involved in, if that is turning you into someone you don't like, someone that you're not, then you need to step back, okay? You just need to step back. Because your mental health and your well-being is far more important than following, you know, I'm not saying be oblivious, okay? I'm not saying don't listen to the news, don't watch the news. You know, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying maybe less of a dose. You know, all of this has been like heroin. It really has. Donald Trump is like heroin. You don't want to do it. You know that it's bad for you, but you just can't turn away. You know, you just can't stop looking. It's like a terrible car crash. You know, you don't want to look at it. You know there could be dead people. But then you do. You do look at it. And so I don't think that's good for our mental health anymore. And I know it's not good for mine, and I know it's not good for Keith Olbermann's, because Keith Olbermann has said it's not good for him. David Pakman and Brian Taylor Cohen have been put on like a White House hit list. That's going to create violence, okay? Donald Trump is going to get somebody killed. You know, I know you all talk about me inciting about whatever. Donald Trump, he's going to get somebody killed. Because someone's going to go to the White House, see that page with David Pakman on it, or Brian Tyler Cohen, whatever his name is. He's really handsome. And they're going to think, oh, well, then, by the way, store your soup in glass. They're going to think, oh, this person's a left-wing radical. They're not good for America. I should do something about that. They both posted death threats today. David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen are getting death threats. Now, you know, under my post, I've already had people say I should die, that I should be put into a camp, and all of that. You know, things you put out there have consequences, okay? And I don't know that Donald Trump realizes, and maybe he does, and maybe he wants them to be harmed. I mean, is it naive of me to think that because this man is putting this hatred out there, he must realize that this hatred is going to get somebody killed, and he just doesn't care? I mean, that has to be, you know, part of the equation. Oh, where are my lids? How many of you fight to Keep your lids in order. Don't flip your lid. Look at that. That'll sit in your refrigerator. That's at least 2 servings right there. This makes about 6 servings, healthy servings. If you use a soup bowl like this soup bowl here. So yeah. All right, let's put this in there. But I'm really worried about them, by the way. I'm worried about David Pakman. I'm worried about Brian Tyler Cohen. I'm worried that one of these wackos is going to do something to them because Donald Trump thinks it's okay. By the way, this keeps for about 3 to 4 days. So if you're going to be more than that, where do you put it? In your freezer, honey, because it'll freeze just beautifully. So just stick it in your freezer. The others, this will be dinner tonight. I have lentil soup for dinner tonight, but this will be dinner on another night. You can bet. All right, put it in the fridge. Look at that. In one show, okay? In one show, we have made an entire batch of tomato soup, stored it, put it away, gotten it ready for the week in one show. So what is your excuse? Why can't you do it? Okay? What's the problem? So yes, there are real world consequences to what Donald Trump does when he creates a hit list, which is basically what that is. It's a hit list. He's saying these people are enemies of mine. And he's really good at vilifying his enemies, isn't he? And that's why I'm saying, following that isn't going to help you, okay? Knowing that he's doing that, it's not going to help you, okay? So maybe not following it so closely. I mean, look what it's done to me. It's made me a basket case. In my real life, IRL, in real life, I am not doing okay. And I don't think any other talk show host would come out here and talk to you as frankly or as honestly as I am today in my kitchen. I'm not doing okay. Professionally, I don't feel that I'm excelling and doing what I need to be doing to try to make more income. I love the show, but I'm thinking maybe I should write more. Maybe I should do some behind the scenes stuff. Maybe I should create my dance show, Club Decades Experience, and see if I can get gigs. Maybe I should spend more time developing a movie and actually finally trying to be in a film that Andrew wrote for me. Because I'm not doing those things now. Because after I get off the show, my attitude, my emotions have been so worked that the rest of the day, I don't even want to call and book guests for the show. You cannot be as invested in the topics as I am and in your lives, caring as much as I do about you. You cannot do that and just cutting. Well, I used to be able to when I was young. Just cutting. Off we go. It sticks with me now. It yesterday depressed me. I felt good after I did that Great Britain news. I thought we had a great dialogue. This was a good segment. And then the commenters started commenting, and all I felt was bad at now. I feel like I shouldn't have done it because it opened, and I can't feel that way. I need to fight for LGBTQ rights. But by doing that, I put myself right in the line of fire, literally, for horrible haters. And I start to question, is it worth it? RuPaul is out with a movie right now, Stop That Train. You could see that this weekend. And it's the first movie with an entire drag cast being led by drag queens. And great, it's during Pride Month, and God bless them. And you know what they're not thinking about? They're not thinking about world gay news. They're not thinking about Donald Trump. They're not thinking about that tomatoes have gone up 40%, so making your tomato soup just doubled in cost almost. They're not thinking about that. RuPaul is not worried about any of that. And I wonder, is that the better way to be right now? I don't want to say ignorant, okay? Because none of you could ever be ignorant. So I don't want to say ignorant. I'm just wondering if it's better right now to start focusing on things in your life that bring you joy. Because we've been focused since Donald Trump, think about this, since the moment that man came down that escalator like 10 years ago now, he has been the sole focus of almost every day for almost everybody in the world. One man out of 8 billion people. There is hardly anywhere on the planet you can go to escape him or the effects of his regime. Oil prices all over the world are soaring, which means food prices are soaring, which means insurance price, everything is soaring all over the world. That inflation is caused directly by Donald Trump, by his tariffs, and by this war. All over the world. I mean, I came to my kitchen to try to escape him and couldn't. So, I guess there's no escape. I tried to kill him. He's a mega monster. Oh, Lord.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
So next week we're going to make cream of broccoli soup because I need to, and I love being in the kitchen, so we'll do that next week. Tomorrow we're going to do a half hour This Gay Week with Scott Jacobson from the Ukraine, where he is still at. We'll check in with what it's like to be in the Ukraine right now. You know, I mean, I know he's doing fine, but some days to me he seems just a bit, I don't know, sad because he's in a war zone, you know? And now he told me over there that the Ukrainians are now so used to it, they'll say things like, well, the bombs didn't fall anywhere near me. Or, oh, that was across town. Or, you know, I mean, they have now become, think about this. There are children that are about to be school age in Ukraine that were conceived and born at the beginning of this war. Because hasn't it been like 5 years? 4? How long? Anybody? Maybe Alexa knows. Alexa, how long has the Ukrainian war been going on? Should know that. How could you not know that? Alexa, when did Russia invade Ukraine? Russia. Didn't even know what Russia was. Alexa, when did Russia invade Ukraine?
On February 24th, 2022.
2022. 4 years. There were kids being conceived that are now 4 years old. They're walking and talking. And their whole life has been the war. Do you hear it still going on? Alexa, shut up. There are kids that have grown up in war. That's all they've known at 4 years old. And what have we done? Mr. I'm going to stop it in my first day. It's not stopped. It's still going on. And he's disinterested now. He's disinterested. You know, everyone said, look at all the people he supported in this election. They're all winning. Do you know that 5 of the people that he primaried, and successfully, that they're not going to be reelected now because he endorsed an opponent during a primary. Do you know those are the 5 people, including that Nancy Mace, who insisted the Epstein files be released? He has a political enemies list, and he is, for lack of a better word, executing them. And what was their crime? They wanted the files of the largest pedophile ring of our time to be released. And because he's in it, and because we all know that he participated, he had to have, allegedly, he now primaried 5 people successfully because they wanted the release of the Epstein files. And you wonder why I run to my kitchen. Now, it's a mess. I mean, it's not totally clean, so it'll take me a few minutes to clean it up, but that tomato soup was worth it. I'll be back on Monday. I'm going to go to the movies this weekend. Why don't you go? It's because it's going to be 100 no fuck here in Las Vegas. So why don't you guys go to the movies? Either go see Stop That Train. Look, I don't like RuPaul, but go see The Queens. It's probably going to be very funny. It's going to be like an airplane movie, and those are always funny. So go see that. Or if the Spielberg movie, I don't know if that's open yet. If it is open, go see it. I hear it's his best movie in decades. And it's all about aliens. So he's doing what we love him to do. So go see that. Or do something fun. Go somewhere fun, even free. You don't have to pay a lot of money to go do something fun. But go do something fun. We need to have more fun in America. America is not much fun right now. It just isn't. And so we need to go and have some fun. If it's in the kitchen, then cook something. I mean, it can't be that expensive. Well, who am I kidding? But it's worth it because you can eat it. So try a new dish this weekend that you maybe didn't try before. Or, do a new recipe. Or start a new health plan. Become a vegan. Become a vegetarian. But do something for you this weekend. Because the news is going to be there. And probably worse on Monday than it is today. I am amazed that the primaries that they had on Tuesday, they had those results by Wednesday from most states. So I kind of do wonder, why they're still not done? It's like, I get it. You have a lot of mail-in ballots, and the state has 39 million people. See, Georgia, what's the population? 8 million? 10 million? I mean, California has 40 million voters. Well, they didn't all vote, though. Even 20 million. That's still more than Georgia or Alabama. Well, see, because Trump was like, Georgia counted their votes immediately. Well, yeah, how many people live there? Alexa, what's the population of Georgia?
According to the 2020 U.S.
Yeah.
The population of Georgia is 10.7
10 million people.
which is a 10.7%
So
increase over
I'm told that less than 1 million or 2 voted in their primary. In California, they had millions vote in the primary, so it took longer to count the votes. So I get it. I get why some people think, that took too long. I mean, it did take a while. But, and now we know that Spencer Pratt is out, which has upset so many Republicans. Fixed, rigged. Are we all done with them crying wolf about rigged elections? Does anyone actually believe the California election was rigged? Does anyone believe the 2020 presidential election was rigged? Other than Donald Trump. And maybe Mike Johnson, although I don't believe he believes it. And Lindsey Graham will suck anything put in front of him. So, if that's the conspiracy theory du jour, he'll go with it. But does any reasonable person, logical person, because how is it that we had decades and decades, almost 250 years of uncompromised elections, but the minute that Trump enters the electorate, suddenly they're rigged and they're fraught with fraud? And I mean, does anyone really believe that? I don't. I know none of you do. I'd like to be able to vote from my phone one day. I don't even think we should have to go in. You can do almost everything else with your phone. Imagine how many people would vote if you could vote with your phone. And if you can bank with your phone, there is a way to do an authorization or an authentication. They send you a code, they send you this, you scan that, whatever it might be. In the age of AI, there is a way to vote on your phone. They don't want us to because they don't want more people to vote. That's what these laws are about. That's what the ID laws are about. They want to make it harder for people to go into democracy and act in it. However, according to a new poll they just did about America 250, democracy isn't high on the list of things young people think America is good at. I am Carell. Be who you want to be, so I don't hurt anybody. Thank you for joining me this Thursday in my kitchen. Like, subscribe, leave comments down below. Tomorrow we'll be back with a half-hour version of This Day Week with Scott. So that will happen. And until then, have fun, stay safe, cook.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carell Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service.